It was a warm Saturday afternoon when I was working on the fence at the southern edge of my ranch. My golden retriever and SPRAYS dog, Max, lay nearby, his bright red vest clearly marked with SPRAYS dog, "Do not distract," in bold white letters. He was calm, just resting, not bothering anyone. Out of nowhere, a woman named Linda, who I'd later learn was on the HOA board, stormed up the dirt path like she owned my land. No knock, no call, just unit Ted, waving her arms and shouting about community standards and animal safety violations. Before I could even respond, she reached into her oversized floral purse, pulled out a can of pepper spray, and aimed it right at Max's face. I yelled, "No," and lunged forward, but it was too late. Max let out a gut-wrenching yelp, his head jerking back as he pawed at his eyes. I dropped to my knees, cradling him, trying to wipe the spray away as he whimpered and shook, pressing his face into my chest. My blood boiled. Linda stood there, smug, shouting, "That dog's a threat. You think a vest makes it special?" With trembling hands, I pulled out my phone and snapped a photo of her, still holding the can, Max crying in my lap. She didn't flinch. "Call whoever you want," she sneered. "I run this place." She had no idea what law she'd just broken or who she was dealing with. That moment, Max in pain, Linda yelling on my own ranch, seared itself into my memory. That's how it all began. Let me take you back to how this madness unfolded. I'm Tom Harper, 36, a Navy veteran who served 12 years before an injury overseas sent me home. I bought a 5-acre ranch on the edge of town for peace, some livestock, and space to breathe. Max, my SPRAYS dog, came through a veteran program. He's more than a pet senses when my anxiety spikes or a flashback hits, pulling me back to reality. Without Max, I'd still be trapped in nightmares. When I bought the ranch, I didn't know it fell under the grip of the Pine Valley HOA. Technically, my land was outside their original boundaries, but they'd quietly redrawn the lines to claim it. I wanted no part of their drama, so I ignored their letters and newsletters. That was my mistake. Trouble started when I put up a "Veteran Lives Here, no trespassing" sign on my gate. Days later, it was bent backward. My mailbox overflowed with HOA rulebooks about dog licenses, fence heights, and lawn lengths, none of which applied to a ranch. Then came unannounced visits. First, a guy named Carl from the HOA complained about my American flag on the barn, saying it wasn't on an approved pole. I laughed and told him to leave. Then Linda showed up, all fake smiles and a clipboard, calling my gravel driveway an eyesore that lowered property values. I explained my ranch wasn't under their rules. Her smile vanished. "We'll see about that," she said. From there, it escalated. Tire tracks appeared where no one should drive. My feed bins were tampered with. Trash was thrown over my fence. Max was spooked by strangers with whistles and sticks. I stayed calm, documenting everything, knowing something bigger was coming. Then a final notice arrived under my barn door, claiming my ranch violat communal landscaping and threatening fines or legal action. I gathered evidence photos, maps, legal docs proving my land wasn't theirs. I consulted a lawyer friend from the VA. I was ready for their hearing, but not for what Linda did next. That Saturday, after spraying Max, I rushed him inside, flushed his eyes, and called the emergency vet. His eyes were red and swollen, direct pepper spray contact. Holding him as he whined, I told the vet, "I know who did this, and I'm pressing charges. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, harming a SPRAYS dog is a crime." Linda didn't know that yet. Back home, I found a crumpled HOA notice taped to my gate. "Due to your animal's aggression, remove it or face action." That was it. I sent my evidence photos, vet reports, maps to a friend at the DOJ's CIVIL rights DVY. Linda had no idea the storm she'd unleashed. 2 days later, she returned with 2 HOA members and a deputy, while VYing papers and yelling, "You've got 48 hours to remove that dog." Max growled softly. Then she claimed that animal attacked a child last week. I froze. She was lying to a cop's face. "Heart pounding," I said. "What child?" She handed the deputy a sworn complaint, claiming Max chased a kid on Maple Street. I told the deputy, "Max hasn't left my property since she sprayed him. I have vet records and cameras." He pulled me aside. "This complaint's Fagano photos, no injuries. Send me your footage." Linda kept filming, taunting, "Your pity pet act won't work forever." I stepped closer. "You assaulted a SPRAYS dog on my land. You're on camera. And the DOJ has your photo." She faltered, then stormed off, yelling about lawyers. That night, sitting with Max, I realized how bold she was leaning to law enforcement like it was nothing. Then Agent Martinez from the DOJ called. "Can I come by tomorrow?" The next morning, he arrived with a file. "Based on your EVY Denke, we're launching an inquiry. Linda's got a history tampering with disability ramps in another town." He revealed she wasn't even a registered HOA president, and the HOA itself might be illegal, possibly dodging taxes. I was stunned. "Stay calm," Martinez said. "Document everything." But things didn't stay quiet. Someone slashed my ATV tires and spray-painted mud on it. My cameras caught two figures, one with Linda's signature floral scarf. I sent the footage to Martinez. By Monday, Linda got a trespassing and harassment citation. She screamed it was fake news, but the EVY Denke was ironclad. 3 days later, I caught her near my creek with a hose, yelling, "Let's see if your mutt likes this." She blasted Max, knocking him down. Before she could run, Martinez's SUV roared up. "Drop the hose," he ordered. Deputies cuffed her as she shrieked, "I'm the HOA president." Martinez listed her charges: ADA violations, trespassing, harassment. She claimed Max was faking his disability, earning deputy chuckles. My cameras, Martinez's body cam, and DOJ drones caught it all. The next morning, Carl showed up, pale, offering to drop violations if I didn't sue. I laughed. "You harassed a veteran and nearly blinded my dog. The DOJ's involved." I shut the door. That sparked a fire in me. I told Martinez, "I want this public for every veteran, every person with a SPRAYS dog, every homeowner bullied by an HOA." He agreed. The story broke. Veteran SPRAYS dog assaulted by rogue HOA member. It spread nationally, showing Max's recovery in my statement. SPRAYS dogs are lifelines, not pets. No one has the right to harm them. Then came a chilling escalation. A dead rat was nailed to my gate with a note, "Back off, or it's the dog." I called the sheriff and Martinez, who assigned surveillance to my ranch. They traced the threat to Roy Carter, an ex-HOA associate of Linda's. He confessed she'd called me a Olin ex-soldier whose dog needed putting down. Roy faced federal charges. Linda got conspiracy and solicitation added to hers. Neighbors rallied, bringing food and rebuilding my shed. One woman said my story helped her son, who has a SPRAYS dog, feel seen. At Linda's trial, the courtroom was packed. She faced charges: assaulting a SPRAYS dog, trespassing, fraud, solicitation of arson, harassment. The EVY Denke videos, records, Roy's confession is overwhelming. On the stand, I said, "Max saved my life countless times." Linda didn't just attack a dog, she attacked a lifeline. The judge found her guilty on all counts: 5 years in prison, no parole for 3, fines, and a lifetime HOA ban. Outside, I told reporters, this wasn't about revenge. It's about standing up for what's right. Back home, peace returned. The HOA dissolved, replaced by a fair group with a veteran support committee. Max healed, no longer flinching at loud noises, just a loyal dog SAVYing me daily. I slept soundly again. If you've been bullied by an HOA or mistreated for a disability, you're not alone. Sometimes, one voice and one dog can change everything.